On this episode, back up in my head with stats and data and helping a specific group of people that is actually probably most of you. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 146 of the Ask Jason Show. I like doing it here for a couple of reasons. That's two. 4. There's a lot of reasons why I like doing it here. However, geez, that's bright. The aesthetic is kind of cool. The aesthetic is cool. And also, hey, Joe, can I have one of them? Coasters, okay? My mom, God love her. I want to show the whole thing. Okay. Isn't this awesome? It's like a little record player. So I've got a small vinyl collection over there, and what you want me to show it? Oh, you're gonna zoom? Okay. I got a small vinyl collection and a turntable and amp and speakers, all at the late 60s, early 70s, and the sound on them is just incredible. So these are cool. It's like a little record player, and you take these records off of it, and each of them is, they have names on them that are a bit of a spin off of something that's real. Like this one is Sun Records, S-O-N. So Sun Records, S-U-N, is all the early Johnny Cash stuff. This one, I'll use this one, you can take that back. I'll use this one. This one is, The Bright Side of the Moon. Which is kind of funny. Obviously, Floyd, 73, Dark Side of the Moon. All right, so that's that. So I like that we're here. And I also like because when I'm just ranting about something, Joe has an idea how he's gonna edit it, and he puts together something that tells the story that I'm trying to tell in a much less disjointed kind of way. And the last episode was a lot more studious, Joe, right? It's not that it was more polished or anything. It's just it was less personality, more data, more cerebral, right? And I think it's possible, or almost guaranteed, that people expect that the type of personality that I use in marketing and delivery of things, both for myself historically as a realtor and now for the Ask team and always the Ask Jason Show, that there's like a goofiness to it, and there is a comedic factor, obviously, but that's because it's authentic. It's natural for me to deliver things that way. But sometimes there's data that needs to be, or information that needs to be delivered that I guess is just a little bit more, well, Joe said it, cerebral. And it's harder to put that into like weird edits and little infographics and stuff that just like satisfy Joe's innate desire and natural ability to make me look terrible on camera. So sometimes there's always going to be room for that. But anyway, in watching that last episode back, I liked the vibe of it. I thought it looked good. I thought it sounded good. I thought the message got across, and people now understand that despite us feeling, based on our own local history, that our local real estate market is unsustainable or unattainable for a lot of people, we're actually like the most favorable place in camera. In camera? Who's camera? Oh, there's camera. Oh man. See, here's one of those moments. I told you, it's just like, maybe I need another sip of this. All right, so I really liked it because we're actually one of the most favorable places to buy and live when it comes exclusively to the real estate market and as it pertains to our average income. So we're a very affordable real estate market all over Newfoundland and in and around St. John's. So that message got delivered well. So now I have a similar type of message, except it's not for, I will say right now, this advice is not for everyone in the market right now. It is for people who are currently on a fixed rate mortgage term that they got into, let's say, more than 2 years ago. So that puts you in a certain likelihood of a price bracket. So 2 to 5 years ago, 2 to 4 years ago, and you're on a fixed rate mortgage, a fixed rate, and a closed term. So you're locked in at whatever percentage for however many years. You are that person, but you want to move up. And when I say move up, you want to sell that house and buy something more expensive. And the reason you want to buy something more expensive is because well, for one, you need it for the use of your family. Maybe you got another kid coming. Maybe your parents are getting older and they're selling their place and having somewhere where you can house them more often or always or something like that would be better. Maybe the pandemic wasn't so great on you and your current partners, former partners, and now you're a blended family. You just need more space. So if you're in a fixed rate term that you got into 2 to 4 or 5 years, something like that ago, and you want to move up, this message is for you. Where our market stands right now, we have had low inventory, which has made the rapid change in interest rates not have a massive impact on our local market. However, last week and the week before, we started to gain inventory. And up until basically now, the first quarter of 2023, we had only done about 400 deals in total, all of our real estate board. And in a market that regularly or in a healthy place does 3,000 to 3,500 in a year, 400 in the first quarter is not a lot at all. But now we have more inventory. And as we have more inventory and rates are still in the higher half of the 4s or in the 5s, that has to put downward pressure on price. So if you want to move up and you're seeing that happen, you're seeing spring market, you're seeing more inventory, you're seeing higher interest rates, but you're also one of the persons who thinks about money not in like a monthly cash flow perspective, but you think about money from a net worth perspective. So you want to move into your bigger house and you're seeing the opportunity that there will be downward pressure on that move up home. There will be on yours too, but it's a ratio thing. So if prices come down 5% and you own a $300,000 house, right? 15 grand. But if prices come down 5% and you're buying a $600,000 house, 30 grand. So you just made $15,000. Even though you lost it when you sold, you made back 30, all right? So you're aware of this. And you don't mind the higher interest rate now because there are already signs that they're coming down. The bond yields have forced the fixed rates down already, down into the mid 4s. The variable rates are predicted to come after them very, very quickly. And you're astute. That's why you're thinking this. You know this stuff. You know that your rate is a temporary commitment. 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. But your purchase price of your home is effectively a permanent decision. You might sell again, sure, but your purchase price is a permanent decision. You're gonna be paying off that amount of money, regardless of what the rate is, for 15 to 30 years. So you don't mind a higher rate for a shorter term. Now I realize this all feels like a lot of like weird, very specific situations to be in, but it's really not. Here's who likely falls into these situations. Anybody who was a first-time home buyer in the last 4 to 5 years. You likely locked into a fixed rate because rates were as low as 2.5 down to under 2. I'm currently in a fixed 4-year term that expires the end of next October for 1.68%. That's super low, right? It's probably any first-time home buyer. Maybe you're having a kid, maybe you're having a second kid, whatever it is. Now you want to move up. You're ready to move up, but you're scared because interest rates are high. Look at purchase prices, not interest rates. The interest rate is a shorter term thing. So that's the situation everybody's in. The problem is they're in fixed rate mortgages with closed terms, meaning if you sell and pay off your mortgage early, break your mortgage contract, you get this massive penalty. And that's prohibiting people from making this decision. Well, here's what I learned literally, not yesterday. What day is it? Thursday. Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday I learned this a couple of days ago, all right? Those penalties are really, really large because the bank decides which of 2 ways to calculate them, and they choose those 2 ways. They choose which one of those 2 based on how much money they get. So they charge you the bigger one. They'll either give you 3 months worth of interest as your penalty for what your current rate is, your current interest rate, or where the big penalties come from, they do an interest rate differential calculation. So the difference between your current interest rate and what the new posted rate would be and all of that stuff. And they charge you a penalty that is the difference between the two of them. Here's the thing. Now, not a mortgage broker, not a banker, not an accountant, not a financial advisor, but been around all of these things long enough to know that this is a blanket statement that will apply to a lot of you. There are people, let me know if you want to know if this works for you, but it will apply to a lot of people. Because rates are so high now, and rates were so low when you locked in your fixed rate 2 to 5 years ago, that means that the interest rate differential calculation is actually going to be negative, which means they default to charging you 3 months interest. So if you owe 400 grand on your house and you've got a 2%-ish interest rate, you're probably talking about $1,800 to $2,000 in a penalty. When years ago people were in this place and they'd have like $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 penalties depending on how much time was left on their mortgage. Do you see this opportunity? So now not only are you saving all of the money on your penalty by moving up and buying a house that's a higher interest rate, you're capitalizing on the fact that the spring market is bringing more inventory. Rates are still high. They will drive prices down. So your 5% reduced price on the $600,000 house you want to buy now gets it to you for $570,000. That $570,000 is locked in. That's how much you paid from now until forever. Yeah, your interest rate is higher than you're going to want it to be, but for that much time out of this much time. So, again, not for every buyer, not for every seller, but if you're in a fixed rate, closed term that you got into more than 2 years ago, less than 5 years ago, probably, which puts you statistically wanting to sell in the next 6 to 36 months anyway. If you're that person and you want to move up and you're afraid of your penalty and you're worried about high interest rates, I think you are actually in the perfect position to set yourself up for a massive increase in net worth just by playing the game, just by knowing the ins and outs and just by playing the game. I brought this out because I had notes in it. I mean, I'm done now, I think. I reserve the right to be wrong because I need to check. I don't think I missed anything. Nah, man. The only thing that I will say is that this is obviously a limited time opportunity because when the rates go down again, your penalty goes up again. Isn't that stupid? Isn't that stupid? And when prices start to come back down, the rates will go down again. Like rates increase to hedge against inflation. Rates go up to put prices down. That's why your eggs are so expensive, because rates were too low for too long. And now they're gonna go up, and when the eggs come down, this deal is off. That's basically how it works. There's a gross bastardization of the whole thing, but it's basically how it works. And that is 2 cerebral episodes of the Ask Jason's Brain episode 145, 146. That's the show. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.